Douglas J. Beck here with the Real Estate Investing Mastermind Facebook group, here to serve you today and bring as much value as I can. Today's topic is going to be exciting. I just did a little live on my personal Facebook page. You might have seen a video come up here in this group as well. Kind of giving you a preview of what to expect and some additional context for the discussion today. But man, I'm excited because this kind of stuff, man, real estate investing is awesome. Real estate is great, but then when we talk about systems and processes and streamlining things and optimizing things, that gets me pretty excited as well. So we're going to be talking about that today, and we're going to give you kind of the layout, the framework, the blueprint of sorts. I'm going to show you some things on my screen and kind of explain from an actual live training I did inside of our private coaching group just yesterday. I'm going to show you on my screen what that looked like, and we're going to give you the opportunity by just doing something really simple to receive that exact training. In addition to today's training, you're going to have another 45 minutes or so of training available to you. My team's working on editing it out. We're going to talk about that when we get there today. In the meantime, do me a favor and just throw a comment beneath this video and tell us where you're based out of, right? Tell us where you're based out of and tell us anything else about yourself as a real estate investor or what brought you here. All right. If you want to have some fun, talk about what you have and what you need. Right? Talk about what you have and what you need. What do I mean by that? I mean, hey, I've got deals coming in, but I don't have the capital. I don't have the money right now. I'm looking for a capital partner. I'm looking for people to work together with, to collaborate. Hey, I have the information, but I don't have the time. I'm looking for somebody to help me run this, as an example, right? These are all examples. I have capital, but I don't have deals, or I don't have time. Or I could get a loan, but I don't know how to put this whole thing together. I got really good credit. I got fill in the blank, whatever you have and what you need. So take a moment to do that. Introduce yourself in the chat or on the comments there. Let's make sure we have our coaching group members access to this. So we could either broadcast it there somehow, or even just give them an invite directly to the Zoom, maybe post inside the private group for them guys on the team. Right now we are inside. I see the live stream. I'm going to monitor the comments. I'm also going to have my team help me with that. So if whoever's on the feed on Facebook could please pop over any comments into the chat on Facebook, from Facebook, I should say, into the chat, that'd be great. And then we'll jump into it. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up a graphic here, which we're working on digitizing as well. Let's see if I can find it. Just one sec. I'll give you guys kind of a story about my background in case you don't know some of what kind of led us here to begin with in the first place. Let me just get this on standby here for everybody. By the way, if you're not currently my friend on Facebook or follow me on Facebook, I'd encourage you to quickly do that. There's some stuff that I do on my personal page that does not end up in the group. Like, for example, this morning, some of the folks, this might resonate with, especially if you're feeling like you're having challenges, you're not having this kind of success that you feel like you want or you deserve. It gets tough sometimes. And I've lived that, right? I mean, when you're growing a business, it's going to be challenging. There's different types of challenges. So I just shared a couple of things. I typically share almost every day, basically some wisdom, if you would, from this one app that I have on my phone that really is focused on mindfulness. But I'm also a Christian. I'm not afraid to share that with the group here, that, I bring biblical principles and Christ-centric things to my network. So, if that offends you in some capacity, I don't know what to tell you, but that's just who I am. So I'd be comfortable with you sharing who you are, clearly. But if you go to my Facebook page today, I gave those of you that might need this, 4 biblical, scripture verses from the Bible about this. And so, I don't know, I've just been hearing a lot of different things, different people, and obviously the economy is a little wacky and inflation's crazy and deals are short and things like that. And so maybe you have some concern, maybe you're fearful, maybe you're in a place where you feel like you're not having the kind of consistency. And we're going to talk about the tactical and strategic level of those things, but at a spiritual level, sometimes we need that little boost. So check me out on Facebook. You can follow me and you should be able to see that. Let me go ahead and bring this up. And then I got it on my screen here, ready to go. Perfect. I see we got some folks on the group. I see about a dozen and a half folks on live. So that's excellent. Thank you all for being here. Please participate by using the comment feature. And I'm going to ask that my team moderates that just to make sure. I don't see comments for some reason. In case you don't know. There we go. Now I think I can. I see Savannah's in the room from Scotch Plains. What's up, Savannah? Lori's here. What's up, Lori? And Sharab just tagged everybody. So I know some people might get upset, and I apologize if you're getting the notification, you popped on, you're just waiting to yell at me about putting at everyone. There is a way to not get notified if you don't want to be notified. And there's 2 ways, actually. Number one is to go into Facebook's notification feature for your actual Facebook account and choose that this particular group doesn't give you notifications. You can choose that. Don't tell me exactly how. I don't know how to tell you exactly how, but there's a way to do that, right? And number two is, respectfully, I say this, you could just exit the group and that's okay. We're not offended, right? If you don't feel that this is valuable for you, we want the right people in the right place in the right time. And so I'm hoping that most people that hear me today that listen live for the duration are here for the right reasons. And if you're not, again, just a reminder that we're not holding you hostage in this room. You could gladly just step out and it's all good. We love you. We appreciate you, but maybe it's not the right time or right place. I see Ron's in the room. What's up, Ron? And I see Derek also. What's up, man? How you doing? Appreciate you being here. So I got some good folks in the room here already that I can tell. I know some of these folks by first name basis, and really looking forward to bringing you guys some good value today. So I'm going to kind of cut into it. So just to kind of, level set a little bit my background, and you might see this again on my Facebook page. So I'm not going to take too much time, but I've got about a decade of experience working in corporate IT and procurement. And what that basically means is I was helping big company, in this case it was Johnson & Johnson, take their processes in IT, their information technology processes, and make them better and do what's called, process improvement or process excellence. And we also took the time to use two main principles. One is called lean methodology. If you're taking notes, it's LEAN, lean methodology. You can look it up. And we also use another principle called Six Sigma methodology. So, and when you put those two things together, you get what's called Lean Six Sigma, Lean/Six Sigma. So that was the process excellence methodology that Johnson & Johnson used and a lot of companies use to improve the process. How do we improve the process? And we're going to talk about how this makes sense for real estate in a second. We improve the process by removing wasteful activity. Okay, I want you all to write down, remove wasteful activity. And number two, by removing or reducing, if not possible to be removed, variation. We want to remove or reduce variation. So what does that actually mean in like layman's terms? It means we don't want to do stuff that doesn't matter, it's erroneous, and we don't want to do things that are different every time we do the same process. We want the process to be the same, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, and so on and so forth, over and over again. And when you have a system that's optimized and that's reliable to produce a result, and I like to joke around now as a real estate investor, as an entrepreneur, that it took us, a decade to get that down to a science. And we've been doing it for a little while, but really this way for, as of today, we're a decade into this as a company. And so it's like, at the end of the day, you now get to utilize all the things that took us. We kind of were like a research and development company for real estate investors effectively for the past decade. We've learned by doing certain things right and doing certain things wrong. And now we're here to serve you all and train you all in this group and actually coach you all in our private coaching group called the Growth Collective. So if you want to check out how that works, just as a quick side note, you can check it out while I'm talking. You have another window on your phone. Join thegrowthcollective.com. We have some of our members coming in the room. I see Janet just joined. I see Wendy's just joined. So we got other folks. We had a meeting yesterday. We have a meeting every single week with me leading that particular meeting on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Eastern time currently. We also have about 4 or 5 other meetings throughout the week and with different people, not just me talking every single week, every single time. We want to give you the full well-roundedness of an experience with people that are experts in their own way. And so if that sounds like something you might want to learn about and you want to plug into, then check out jointhegrowthcollective.com. Again, jointhegrowthcollective.com. Now, when we get into systemization, I said Lean Six Sigma. So I want you all to take a moment just to write down some things about your current process as a real estate investor. And I'm going to give you some ideas. So think about how you generate leads. Think about how you analyze leads. Think about how you decide who to talk to, who to call, who to message, who to reach out to, how to analyze. I said that before, but what tools are you analyzing with, right? What are we doing when we get a lead? And are we calling it a lead or are we calling it a deal, right? Are we calling someone a contact or are they a collaboration partner? Are we calling, an opportunity, or is it really not an opportunity? Like, in other words, who do I need to connect with and what kind of deals am I looking for? Okay, we're going to talk about this. I'm going to show you on my screen, essentially a very simplified, it's going to look a little bit busy because I drew it out in real time yesterday. And some of you have heard this a couple of times now, and that's good. Reminders is going to be ingrained in your head and know this. Those of you that have been part of those trainings and conversations in the coaching group and the Growth Collective. And welcome. I see Lynn's here as well. And I also saw somebody else I think joined. I think I said hi to Derek already as well, but Lynn, appreciate you being here. Again, everybody, if you could just drop a location, that'd be awesome. So each of you that have already commented, Silvana took care of that. She said Scotts Plains, New Jersey. I know Lori is down here in Florida, just north of, I think, where I'm at. And if you guys would do me a favor, just drop a location. That'd be awesome. So people know if they can connect with you. I encourage you all to connect inside the group, right? And it's a whole process too, but we'll get to that if we have time today. If nothing more, just connect with people in the comments. Like, just acknowledge them. Share something. It's not about promotion. It's just connection. Okay. But anyways, so we have this process. What's the process look like? Some people's process, and by the way, the goal is what? The goal as a real estate investor is to make profit. The goal for any business is to make a profit, unless you're a non-for-profit. But even then, what do non-for-profits typically do? They make money and then they donate it, or they put it to charity, or they take care of a cause. They contribute, right? And today we're not talking about the backdrop of like the why as much, because I'm not here to give you like end to end. That's just not today's topic. You could go back to some of the trainings. In fact, if you go to the guides in this group where you're hearing me talk right now in Facebook, you go to the top of the group and you see a section that says guides. There's like probably dozens at this point of previously recorded trainings from myself and others that are there for you. And I don't want to make you nervous because I don't want to scare anybody or anything like that, but they may not be there forever, because we're also revamping some of our offers and figuring out how do we help more people and start making it easier to go step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. And sometimes more information isn't the answer. Does anybody resonate with me on that? Does anybody feel like sometimes too much information is not good? All right. Too much information. Like, you've ever heard your friend say that's TMI? It's a different kind of TMI. Like, you told me something that you don't have to tell me, just like, hey, I got to go to the bathroom. You're not going to give the specifics as to why. All right. Okay. So at the end of the day, right, TMI. So we don't want to provide TMI. We don't want to provide just enough. And so that's kind of the concept also, if you think of it from a process excellence standpoint. So you look at your business and say, man, I'm taking inventory of where I'm at in business and what I've done and what I do and who I'm connected to. And it looks like complete chaos. All right. Kind of like my desk over here that you can't see on this side. You can see it stacks of stuff like books and a bunch of paper that I have to go through. It's not totally chaos. It's actually what I think my biology teacher back in high school used to say, it's organized chaos. And as some people can live in that and they just get where stuff is and they know where to go for things, kind of like that. But in the ideal sense, like my desktop, for example, and your desktop should probably be pretty organized to know this is where the computer goes. This is where my drink goes. This is where my phone goes. This is where my keyboard is on my mouse. And every time I sit at my desk, my keyboard's in front of me, my microphone's right here, my screen's in front of me, my camera's up there, my light is there, and my mouse is here, and I'm ready to go. And I'm in a chair. Not like, well, sometimes I stand up and sometimes I sit down and sometimes I have a keyboard and sometimes I don't. And sometimes the monitor's facing over there and sometimes the camera's over there, but all the time is one thing. No, that's confusion. So do me a favor. I know the answer, I think, but just tell me, help me out here. Do you want confusion or do you want consistency? If you want consistency, just drop the word consistency. It's kind of an easy one. I think that's just to get you guys to understand. Focus on what you want and it will attract towards you. So today's conversation is about creating consistency. Another thing to think about is, do you want lots of complexity or do you want simplified or simplification or a simple process? Use whatever word, simple, right? I want simple. I want consistent. That's what I want. I think most people want that. So then we go back to, again, Lean Six Sigma, lean. Remove the waste. Look at your stuff, and I'm going to show you what that looks like in real estate terminology. I want you all to take a chance to just kind of circle some things, cross some stuff out, put some questions on your piece of paper, and consider what is wasteful, what is not necessary, what is not producing any sort of benefit or ROI to yourself, like in your business or even in your life. Okay. I'm going to give you some examples that most people would agree with. Maybe some people in this room don't agree. I think that if you sit in front of a TV watching the news for 4 hours a day, that's probably not the best use of our time for 4 hours, if you have 4 hours to do that. And some people do this after dinner until they go to sleep and they just watch stuff and they hear information and it's helpful to know what's happening, but is it necessary to have 4 hours of your valuable time invested, or essentially, in this case, in my opinion, wasted, just taking in information? It's going to do what? It's going to scare you. It's going to make you feel nervous. It's going to make you feel anxious. It's not going to help you. And even with God in your heart and God in your mind, even at that point, watching the graphics and the imagery of things that are happening that people are portraying, quote unquote, negative news media, is going to subconsciously program your head to believe that the world is completely falling apart. And we know that this is already the case. So the world is already broken. And that's why we have to be the light for the darkness that already exists. And that's why we are looking to be entrepreneurs, or already are entrepreneurs, to help change the dynamic and change the world for the better. So that's the goal that I have, that I think you all should understand and care about too for yourself, that don't participate in things that are wasteful. Produce things that are powerful, produce things that are valuable. Okay. And in our business, what does that look like? Well, that looks like turning off the TV, for example, maybe whatever that TV analogy is in your life, and getting focused. And then the question is, well, Doug, what do I focus on? All right, we'll get to that. That was lean. 6 Sigma. This is like corporate jargon stuff that may be like, really? Yeah, it works. Okay. It works. It doesn't need to be complicated. It's just simple. 6 Sigma says, we're going to remove variation. Let me give you an analogy. One that I remember distinctively when I was getting certified as a 6 Sigma, certification, whatever you call it, implementer, like more than 10 years ago. They said, look, airplanes. I don't know who likes to fly and doesn't like to fly, but when you get on a plane, I'd hope to think that when we step into the plane and we sit down, our bags are already in there, they put their baggage thing, and then you sit there, you go through security, all this process, a couple of hours of your life invested to go sit on the plane. And then usually an hour or 2 or 5 hours on the plane. We all hope to God that the guy or gal who's driving that plane, the pilot and the plane itself, are going to function 100% properly. Is that true? I believe it's true. I think this is like a rhetorical kind of question here, everybody. If you, God forbid, get on a plane, it's not properly functioning, usually, if there's any remote possibility, they're going to say something like, hello, everybody, this is the pilot speaking, and we have a little issue with such and such system. We're going to be sitting here on the ground for the next whatever period of time and fixing the issue. Please bear with us. Or, hey, we can't take off because the plane has a bigger issue and we can fix for now, so you're going to have to get another flight. That doesn't happen very often, right? And God forbid that the pilot, why do we have a co-pilot? Because if the pilot can't do something right, the co-pilot's there to save the day. And God forbid both the co-pilot and the pilot have an issue. Now we have a bigger problem. And that's when, I don't know, the flight attendant maybe or something steps in. I've never seen that. God forbid that ever happen. It's happened with massacres, like things that are not normal, that people get affected. People have weapons used on them and things like that. But I'm talking about everyday flying. Okay. How many flights are happening right now in the United States of America? Anybody know the answer? Take a guess. You're probably going to Google it like me, but how many flights in the US per day? Quickly. What is the guesses? Anybody want to come off from, you can guess on the meeting here? Greater than 1,000, it's less than 1 million. Okay. It says here, at a given time, there are between 8,000 to 13,000 airplanes in the air. Over 30,000 flights with 2 million passengers on board take off every single day in just the United States of America. 30,000 flights a day with 2 million people every day. How many in a year? It's like a math problem my kids solve in school. Let's see. 365 times 2 million. It's a pretty big number. 730 million people or passengers, right? Might be some of the same people. Let's talk about flights. 30,000 flights a day, 365 days a year. That's 10.95 million flights in a year. If the average person lives, let's give the benefit of the doubt, let's say 100 years, just easy math. You could just do 100 times that. It's a ridiculous number. 1 billion something flights in your lifetime will happen. And we're saying, well, what if my flight is the one that has an issue? Well, check this out. The chance, this is factual. You can look this up. The chance for a flight to have an issue that's catastrophic, all right? I want you all to write this down, is the principle behind actually Six Sigma. Six Sigma says that in statistical measurement of a process, and our business is a process, it's a system, whether you know it or not, a true business is a process, a thing full, or a system, I should say, of a process, tools, and typically team, right? Those are like the three pillars. So if you look at this like a business and say, Sigma, what does Sigma represent? It represents one deviation off of what's called the mean. It's like complicated statistical stuff. It basically means how far off of the average or the common thing will happen. Six Sigmas, everybody, means that 99.99999% of the time, five nines at the 0.999999 of the time, there will be no difference. Exactly the same process, down to the minutes, the seconds, the everything, right? So 99.99999, I think it's five, I said there at the end, percent of consistency. Imagine if you had a process that produced the result in your real estate business that 99.99999% of the time produced the same result, which was closing a deal, profiting on a transaction, and doing that on some consistent basis that you determine is possible in your business. What would that do? It'd do a lot. So we have to strive for that. How do we strive for that? We have to take inventory of the current state. So that's what I said before. Take inventory of what you currently do. I want you all to look at your notes. Take a note of that. Cross some stuff out, circle some things, put some questions, put some checks, things that are good. Think about the highest and best use of your time. Think about the highest and best use for the business's benefit, not just your time, but for the business's benefit of what the business and you and your team or your process or your tools, all that, are focusing on. Because we know Tony Robbins says, where your focus goes, your energy flows. And if you're focusing on things that are distracting and subconsciously programming negativity, like negative news media, and you're focusing on things that are different every single time you do them. Like, here's one for you. And my Growth Collective members will appreciate this probably. So whenever I have a one-on-one session with a client, the process to schedule time is the same. There's a link to use, or if we set this, there's only one variation. If we decide that somebody else will set it up, that's a different process. But typically, like more than 95% of the time, but it should be really 99.9% of the time, somebody, as in the client, the member, clicks a button that goes somewhere and then answers the same four questions every time we meet. Why is that? Because too many times people would say, when are you available as a client? When can we meet? And I'll say, I'm available these times. When are you available? We go back and forth 16 times and finally find a time. And then it's like, well, what are we going to talk about? I don't know yet. Okay, well, before we set up a meeting, respectfully, you should have an idea of what you want to talk about so we can prepare, and so on and so forth. So this is an example. Just scheduling time with anybody is sometimes difficult, right? It is, as we're all running around, we're busy doing things. That's why the process and the system would be like, get a scheduler, easy one, right? Let me share my screen. I hope this is making sense. All right, if you have any questions, go ahead and drop a question in the comments, drop a question in the chat. I'm gonna share my screen, something I drew yesterday. Some of the folks in the Zoom room will remember this. Okay. I'm actually going to read this to you because it pretty much is self-explanatory, but 5 simple steps for success. Number 1, identify. Number 2, analyze. Number 3, negotiate. Number 4, contract. And number 5, close. When you combine that with our proprietary TLC marketing system powered by the Growth Collective, which is this right here, it looks like a lot of stuff, and there's stuff happening up here and there's stuff happening in here, you have results that include profit, happiness, smiling, growth, strength, 100%, and a lot of sunshine in your life, hopefully, right? Whatever that means in your life. And so this was a presentation I gave yesterday to a private coaching group that I coach in every single week. And then I shared it with my other group. And essentially, there's a training that's going to be given. Now, if you want access to this training, you just need to comment the word system on either my Facebook post or the one that you're watching this on right now. If you're on your phone, just put the word system. And I'm going to give you the 45-minute version of what's going to be talked about for maybe 5 or 10 minutes today on this part of it. So that's going to give you more of the what to do, how to do it, who to talk to, what to say, etc. Now, if that's not enough, maybe you're like, well, I could see this. I understand kind of where he's going with this. I see the funnel. I see the constant of traffic and leads and things like that. But I just need to do this somehow, like with somebody there in my corner. Well, then we got to have a conversation about what about the Growth Collective? Join thegrowthcollective.com. Go to jointhegrowthcollective.com, watch the 5-minute video after this presentation, and you can learn about how we're helping clients close their first and their next deal. At any engagement that you come with us, we have a guarantee that you close a deal during the time, or if you don't, we continue to work with you until you do. And in some cases, we'll actually guarantee a certain multiple of what you commit financially, because that's how sure we are that you're going to have progress and success in your business. And obviously everybody's different. Like if you don't do the work, you're not going to get that guarantee. You're not going to get the ability to see that through. You're just going to have the capacity, but not the ability. Okay. Yes, there is one of the members in the group says keep the same process, but there might be some variations within the step. And that's where optimization, Wendy, that's where optimization comes into play. Like, how do we tweak the internal pieces of the process to make even the steps consistent? The inputs, the process, and then the outputs of each step. And that's like a whole, we could spend a couple hours on that. And actually, that's a good segue. In the next week or two, we don't have the date 100% finalized, but it's coming out real soon. The team's working on this. We're going to have something that we literally have not done before. I'm going to come up with screen share for a second. We're going to have an event that we haven't done before. Some of you know about the Dealmaker Challenge, which is cool. Some of you met us through the Dealmaker Challenge, and that's awesome. We appreciate you being here. Some of you have no idea what I'm talking about, and that's all good too, because you're going to find out about it if you pay attention to what everything we're doing. But the challenge is awesome. The challenge is in 5 days. Like, it's a 5-day challenge event. It gets people results. It gets progress made in 5 days. It doesn't necessarily get you a deal made in 5 days. It gets you the capacity and the ability to create a deal happen in 5 days. Like, you get to know how to do that and how to get into action mode. However, how about doing it in a few hours? How about getting the same benefit and more within a few hours? If that sounds like something you're interested in, comment the word Dealmaker. Comment the word Dealmaker. If you want to have the capacity and the platform to where you could come into a workshop style meeting where we're not just talking about presentation and conversation and coaching and information. No, I'm talking about implementation in that meeting, going into action mode. Well, how will we do that? Well, there's more to come on that, but think about actually doing the work. Like, we're going to show you what to do, tell you what to do, explain what to do, support you in that. And then you're going to go do it. And then you come back, talk about what happened, figure out how to tweak it, go do some more stuff, maybe practice whatever you need to do, go out and make some phone calls, send us some messages, and then you're going to have results. And in that same day or night that we have this event, you're going to have an immense, and it's an immersive type of event of progress in less than a day, right? Because people want stuff done like yesterday. They want to close deals like they already want to be done with it and just move on. Like, that's what we all know. We all want that progress now and success now, most of the time. And you might be saying, well, I don't need to do this in a day. Like, Rome wasn't built in a day. We're not talking about building your whole business, to be clear, in a day. We're talking about making progress and having some kind of momentum and success in less than a day, which still could be getting a contract on a property, planning to do a wholesale flip and closing within a week or two from the time that you go into contract from the event. Like, if that's something you want, just put the word Dealmaker so we know to reach out to you when that information comes out. You're going to get a personal DM from me or someone from my team about the logistics. Okay. And that's where this whole layout is. This right here: identify, analyze, negotiate, contract, and close. We're going to be working on this part in the Dealmaker Live. Traffic coming into the top, using social media and a website to filter leads, which is the first step. But after we identify our buy box, we'll talk about what that is, and see if this lead, or it's a lead at that point, not a deal, is qualified, or NQ is not qualified. Are they qualified? We keep going down. Check it out. Runyournumbers.com. Some of you have been in this group for a period of time. Heard me say runyournumbers.com. It's a free tool. It's easy. It's not our proprietary part of it. It's part of our system, but it's not the thing that makes it work necessarily. It's a tool that we use to make it easier. It's actually perfect example of Lean Six Sigma. It's reliable, it's simple, and it's repeatable. Okay. We layer that against our buy box. We do some analysis using this tool, runningnumbers.com. Again, you can go to that website later on if you'd like. Analyze. And outside of analysis is what? An offer. We make an offer. Well, how do we do that? We're going to talk about that inside the Dealmaker Live. Then when we make an offer, there might be some renegotiation. That's what this represents right here. Back and forth, circling, analyze, renegotiate, analyze, renegotiate, analyze, renegotiate until you get a check. We now successfully negotiated a deal. That means we have to go into contract. By the way, maybe you want to think, what is a good deal? What's a great deal? You know, if you make an offer at what number is a great deal, then you have some room to maybe work back into a good deal. If you make an offer to get into a good deal, you can't really go back upstream to get a great deal at that point. The other party's going to say, well, you already made this offer. We're going the wrong direction. This isn't going to work unless maybe you get some terms negotiated, like certain financing terms or certain timeline or incentives or perspectives to do due diligence, right? Things like that. We agree on these terms though, and we sign a contract. Now, the words with confirmation via title, I'm going to come back to, don't pay attention too much on that. We contract. And then in that contract, we have the exact thing that we agreed on in verbal and written, maybe on an email, put into a legal binding contract. And as I talked about in the training, there's 3 types of key contracts, one from an agent, one from a wholesaler, and one with a seller directly. And if you want those templates or you want those processes, you need to hit me up as well and say contracts. If you don't know the contracts and you need a template for a contract, especially with sellers, we have a contract template you could use, but you got to get that in your hands and reviewed by somebody in your state that can confirm that everything applies correctly for your state. I can't take responsibility for you using a template in the way that's not designed for your particular state or local laws. But we can give you a template. That's something provided also inside the Growth Collective. And we talk about and even getting it specific to the particular location with the help of the team and with my help if needed. Okay. Confirmation via title. What does that mean? Well, the confirmation via title says my contract is going to be contingent upon title being clear and marketable. What does that mean? It means that I don't have anybody to pay besides the seller or the party that I'm buying it from, like a wholesaler. They're going to get paid as part of the total deal, but that's going to be disclosed and transparent as the price. And title is going to confirm that the people are who they say they are. And if they're not, that's going to be a problem. And then it's going to fall off the side of this funnel and you're not going to have it. By the way, this is a funnel. Remember I said in my live before, I'm wearing a shirt that says FNLHKR, funnel hacker, right? So pause this for a second. I'll check real quick on Facebook. We're losing some people, I guess, but might be over their head a little bit. I apologize. I hope it's not too confusing. You can go back and watch the replay if need be. We got a training. Okay. But check this out. Some of you listening to me today, some of you in the Growth Collective, some of you in the Real Estate Investing Mastermind, some of you are here because you want community. And that's cool. That's exactly a great reason to be here. Community. You want to be part of something that has other people that are similar to you or working on something like you, and you need to connect with people. And that's awesome. That's beautiful. That's great. We have people that are using the community to do what? To collaborate with us and with others. And that's great. Now, some of you come here for content. You're like, I know there's a lot of free stuff out there, but these guys, Douglas J. Beck and his team and the Growth Collective and the Real Estate Investment, I think they might have something that is working. So maybe I should listen. And that's cool. I appreciate your focus and your trust. And the content is what you're here for. And you're here to do it kind of on your own. I would just encourage you to say, consider that other people will be a part of almost every deal, if not every deal, as I can't think of a deal that I've ever did by myself, totally by myself. Is it even possible if you have a seller and one person's a seller and one person's a buyer? No, it's not, because there's another party who is the seller. So you can't even do a deal by yourself if you tried. There's always another party. And I get this, there's going to be multiple parties. So prepare for that. How do I prepare? Well, that's exactly why some people decide to enter into a coaching arrangement. That's what the growth collective is designed to be, a coaching. What's different about coaching than what we're doing here right now? What we're doing right now is I'm sharing content and I have some level of community established with the group and with the folks on Zoom. But you're not really getting coached in the sense that I'm not giving you the play to run and you go run it and come back and tell me how it went and we fix the play for the next one. We adjust it for your specific situation. On the other hand, Janet and Marlo and Wendy and others in the group, they're getting coaching specific to their situation. They have access to the group where they can ask questions openly and live as much as they need to. They also have access to me personally, unlimited inside of a Slack channel, as well as my team to access us. They also have, in some capacity, a guarantee that they're going to have the result that they're desiring in their commitment that they made with us. And if they don't get that result, we work with them until they do. Like, there's not many people out there that are willing to put their skin in the game and neck on the line to do that. I just want to make that clear. It's not about me, it's about us. Right? We have to do this together. And so when we think about that, and then you think, well, that's great. Coaching is awesome. Maybe I'm gonna check you out on that, Doug. I'll go to jointhegrowthcollective.com. I'll drop my information. I'll watch the video. We have a session right after this happening where we're going to have more of a coaching dialogue where some people might have a deal to look at, an actual transaction they're working on, a situation where they bring it up and we talk about it. There's also, though, check it out, not just coaching, but some people need us to create things. It's another C word, create. What am I talking about? Create what? Well, we build funnels and marketing processes and systems for some of our clients, right? These folks are typically what we call inner circle, but they're actually having us build their business effectively online. And we have a handful of them right now. We're going to have a handful more, God willing, because people need that service. That's not just for the newbie investors. So if you're listening to me and like kind of thinking like, oh, there goes Doug again, just guy trying to help all the newbies out. God bless him. You know, that first of all, that's a wrong perspective. I really enjoy what I do. I love helping people and put my hand out to pull them up with me. That's part of what I'm called to do. So if that's you saying that, man, I just hope that you change your perspective a little bit listening to me today. And even the folks that are newer can help somebody who's newer than you are. Like I shared yesterday, I think in the group, that's part of life. It's like pulling people up, right? Helping them get to the next level, whatever that is for them. But let's say you've already done 20, 30, 50, 100 deals. And you're like, how can this guy, Douglas J. Beck, and his team possibly ever help me? We have one client. I don't have her permission right now to share her name, but I'll tell you that there is a real person behind this, but she can identify herself as she hears this and she feels comfortable, who's in the Colorado area, we'll say. And she's got a successful business outside of this investing, but also a real estate investor in multiple states. And she's made a lot of money, multiple six figures in her day, in a year, multiple years, like as in most of the time. And she's got millions of dollars of transactional experience. She decided to hire us to build out her funnels. And now she's got the potential here of leads flowing into multiple streams of her business by her just literally having this built and having leads come in without her having to be involved as much in the process, because there's actually a system. And the system is a combination of the tech framework, the marketing process, and what we call social selling, and also we call qualification and sales, which is just simply having a tech part, having a marketing part, having the process, having somebody help reach out to folks and connect for you or with you, or you do it yourself, which we can train you on how to do that. And then ultimately from there, having some part and some process to qualify the leads to make sure that they fit what you're looking for. As a real estate investor, it'd be like a seller, a wholesaler, an investor, a whatever. Those kind of leads, we figure out which one do you need the most. A lot of people want sellers or deals. So we build out a funnel for deal flow. Some people want investors. They want to bring capital because they already have deals coming, but they don't have enough capital. They don't have loans. They can't get a loan. They don't know how to do that. We can help with that directly. But also if you want to find private lenders or private investors, there's actually a process for that too. So if any of that sounds like something that either the newer person or the more experienced person would like that you're listening to me today talk, then just do me a favor and comment the letters DFY. Or if you don't feel comfortable commenting because you don't want everybody to know, like you need help and you're like a successful investor and you're like, I don't need to tell the whole world, send me a personal DM. It's all confidential. It's no big deal. I work with some of the top investors across the country, believe it or not, that are peers of mine, but also we're clients of each other in certain ways. I'm part of mastermind groups, some of the highest level masterminds that you could be a part of in this community. And there's a peer-to-peer relationship helping serve each other that is awesome. So don't feel ashamed or shy of that. Just know that we're in the same boat. We're all growing together. There's certain things that maybe you could do that I don't know how to do, and that I could do that you can't do. And that's fine. We share our talents and we grow together. So hence the Growth Collective. Now, I'm going to go back to my screen share in a second, but I'm going to remind you that you could ask a question. I'd like you to use the chat feature or the comment feature if anytime you want to ask a question. Please make sure it's somewhat relevant. If you have a question that's not relevant, you can always send me a DM, direct message. Okay, I'm going to share my screen, wrap this up here for us, and then we're going to talk about next steps. Okay, and so back to this. So confirmation with title is like saying, hey, we got confirmation that this seller or this wholesaler is actually who they say they are, and we can close this transaction successfully with legal process. And there's going to be probably an escrow company, and there's going to be money passed into that escrow account that the title company or the attorney is holding, or maybe the agent, but that's not as common in most places, usually a title company or an attorney. And then essentially the deal then transacts, and basically we close, shortly thereafter. But basically to close, I want you all to look right here. We need to order stuff. We need to order title. We need to order an appraisal. Well, the lender actually does that. We need to have the lender also order our credit. You might say, well, I thought that there was going to be a private lender. Well, there could be, but most private lenders that are funds like KPRE Capital Group, which is the fund that I'm a managing partner of, in case you don't know that, that's as of a few months ago. Yes, I still have JDL Ventures. Yes, I still coach. And yes, I still have a title insurance agency, but I also am a partner in a fund, which is kind of like my day job, so to speak, but it's not a job. It's actually very exciting. We are lending capital through our fund across the country to real estate investors. So if you need help with capital, you could send me a message and say capital, or put a comment, say capital, and we could talk about that. I'll get you the information. But as a fund, as a lender, right, we need to order appraisals and credit. And I'm not the one clicking the button to do that. I'm not, that's not my role. My role is strategy and growth of the actual investor base of the LP, which that's not today's conversation. Okay. But it's a specific thing. Number 4, property insurance. I need to have somebody who's a property insurance broker or direct insurer, get the property insurance figured out. And then I might want to get an inspection. And again, I talk about all this stuff in about a 40 to 45 minute long training that I gave yesterday. That's going to be available. If you want access to that, again, the comment is system, or DM me system. And then myself or my team will get that over to you as soon as possible. I want to remind you that this system works. This system that you're seeing on your screen is responsible for tens of millions of dollars of successful closings for our business. Like my own and my wife's personal business, we've done tens of millions of dollars of transactional volume on real estate deals because of what you see on the screen right now. This isn't a theory. It's not an idea. This is what people will call a framework or a blueprint. Now, as it says over here, if you want my team and I to implement the system in your business personally, as in we build from the ground up, or we take what you have and make it like this and make it run systematically with the concepts of Lean Six Sigma and efficiency and optimization, and the concept of using social media to get traffic and then filtering through with a process and a system that's reliable and consistent, then just comment the word DFY or the letters DFY either on this video or in a chat on Facebook, on a DM chat. Okay, really simple. Now, if you don't need any of that, and you're like, what's the point? Maybe this group isn't for you. Like I said, I'm not offended. Like, I'm gonna come off the screen share. I mean this. One of the most difficult things, everybody, is this. I can't help everybody. And I want to. I want to help as many people as I possibly can. I feel like that's what I'm called to do. But you need to help yourself know if I can help you by saying, yes, let's have a conversation. Not sitting there and being nervous and wondering, is he going to try to like push me into something that doesn't make sense? No, we don't do that. That's not our business model. We find a fit if there is one, and we work together accordingly if there is a fit. And if there isn't a fit, I might know somebody who's a good fit. For example, shout out to my buddy Ryan, who's in commercial real estate. Coach Ryan just recently, he's a part of a couple of different Facebook groups I'm in. He's probably in this group. You might hear this. I don't know. but somebody in another group asked about who can help them with a certain kind of real estate deal. And it was pretty much what Ryan does for a living. So I said, I tagged him. I said, this is the guy you need to talk to. It's not about Doug. It really, I could help a little bit, but Ryan's the right guy because Ryan's got the most experience there. He's the right fit. And he's coaching our group and we've worked together on things. So the Growth Collective isn't like the Douglas J. Beck dog and pony show for the whole world to hear about how great I am. That's not what this is. All right. It might feel like that in this group because that's kind of the way we do it. I promote and sponsor this group and it's my group. I started it, my company did, and I push the information out. But behind me and in front of me in some cases are people that are way more experienced even than I am in certain ways. So that's where, again, you have to kind of go like this. Say, hey, I'd like to get some more information. We are running multiple promotional opportunities for our Growth Collective right now. Like, I can't list them out. I'm not going to like just blab out a bunch of numbers and stuff. You might say, well, how much is it? What did I like? There's a lot of very easy and doable ways for most people to get involved in what we're doing. Like, and you got to think that it's not about, can I afford it? It's like, what makes the most sense for you right now? Because if you're limited, for example, on money, which a lot of people are in the beginning, like I was, I mean, I don't know if you guys know, I invested almost $30,000 into a mentorship program when I first started. My group knows this, but again, reminder, $28,000 into it and $2,000 to $3,000 a month in marketing expense. And 6 months in, about 50K into it, that was in 2014, I had 0 deals closed. From there, what happened? Well, something went off, a trigger, a switch, a change. I said, man, we're doing so much wasteful activity. We don't have a reliable process. I'm like, what do they say? Flopping my wings, wherever. Like, I don't know how to, I'm a fish out of water, as they say, right? Let's focus. I said, what do I need? I need deals. I have investors. I need deals. Who has deals? Oh, he does, and she does, and he does, and she does, and she does, and he does. Okay. Let me talk to those people. Okay. Let me talk to John. Let me talk to Aaron. Let me talk to Benz. Let me talk to this guy. Hey, if I could bring somebody from my network to your deal, would you be willing to share in the profit? If they closed, we go back and forth a little bit. Well, are you going to not let me sell it to somebody else? No, I'm going to call some people right now personally that I know would be interested in this. I'm going to text some people and I'm going to use my system to market to my network and tell them all about this and promote it. But we need to get some paperwork in place before I can do that because I don't have the contract and you do. So would you be willing to JV or joint venture? Would you be willing to give me an option to buy? Or better yet, would you be even willing to let me be the assignee so that I can purchase this real estate from you? And then once I have the assignment deal to my company, I could either close and then resell it like we're potentially going to do right now on a property in Florida in a couple of weeks, God willing, or I could just reassign it or double close, take title and then sell it. Again, if some of this stuff is like not clicking, that's okay. But that's another reason why like we have to have a conversation. So join the growthcollective.com. You see some information, you could fill out the form, you could enroll. Right after this, we have our next session at 1 o'clock. If you're willing to send me a DM, like as you're listening to me talk right now, which is, I know it's only 10 minutes, with your contact information, so we could have a conversation after this meeting at some point. I'm willing to give anybody who sends me a DM from now until the next, 10 minutes, access, a guest pass to the next meeting we have. We're not going to give everybody access this week because it's not fair to the clients that we have. If you're willing to share the intent that you want to be a part of what we're doing, but you don't know if you could do it yet, send me a DM as we're talking now, just your phone number and maybe an email address, or even just your phone number. And then I'll get you the link for Zoom to join. And if you catch us on the replay and you're like, man, I wish I was there. Well, I hope you could be there, but check it out. If you actually send me the information I'm asking for, I'll get you the next link for the next meeting we have. Because I don't want you to miss out on what you think is an opportunity by just sharing your phone number a couple minutes too late, or later on. But let's get connected. Okay. Now, is there any questions so far? All right. Let me check my comments real quick. I might be behind on some questions here. Hold on. Team is monitoring, I think, but I don't know. Facebook is a little funky sometimes. Let me check. I see a lot of. Dealmakers. We got Steven, System, John, Systems, Dealmaker, Savannah. Excellent. Looking forward to talking with you all. I'm trying to see the rest of the comments. And of course, Facebook. I don't know why it does this, but I got to go into actual video and pause it and then go here. It's like a little bit funky. Nora says Dealmaker. Derek, Dealmaker. Great. Lori's Dealmaker. Lori said System. Derek said System. Crystal, System. Michael Shetler says thumbs up. Great job. I like that. That's a cool little emoji you got there. It looks like a beard, kind of like a George Washington looking kind of guy. That's pretty funny. And then Steven says 2,200. That was probably the number of flights, I guess you were thinking. And then watching TV. James says, I'm based in New Jersey, joined TGC to create systems to move forward in my real estate investment career, working on my credit and have 730 plus or minus mid-score. Will need help with funding, sourcing deals through driving for dollars. Sign up for Deal Flight. I'm going through the accelerated course content. Yes, we have a strategic partnership with my buddy Ty. So if you guys don't know about that system, hit me up with the keyword automation and I'll get you a personal introduction to Ty. He does workshops pretty regularly. I don't know when his next one is. If you want to automate this, it's like the next level of the system. Like, I don't want to get you guys too excited, but this is like pretty cool stuff. And have the system actually work for you instead of you having to work the system. In this case, I'm talking about real estate, by the way. There's a lot of different context with that, by the way. But, this is a real estate system we're talking about. If you want it to work for you, like that's where, like James is saying, there's automation. So comment automation will get you connected to the automation guy. And then Chris says simple, and then simplicity, simple. Okay, everybody's saying consistency and simple. Perfect. Absolutely. Sarasota, excellent. Let's see who else. That's it. Okay, so listen, we got some really good engagement. I appreciate you guys listening and participating. If anyone didn't have a chance yet to put a comment and you need to put one, remember it's system. If you want to get access to the 45-minute training and you want to hear the hows and the whats and the who's to talk to, from me explaining that from a private coaching session I had like literally yesterday, we're going to get you that replay. Okay. System. The other one is Dealmaker. If you want to participate and learn more about the Dealmaker Live coming up, Dealmaker. Okay. That's your other keyword. So we know who you are. Again, you could DM me these if you don't feel comfortable putting a comment for some reason. And then lastly, if you want us to look at building this out for you and actually building your business from the ground up or building it from wherever it's at now, meeting where you are, and taking it to the next level and putting systems and marketing in place and a team, potentially a small team, that's DFY, not DIY, do it yourself. Like a lot of us start off DIY like I did, right? I DIY'd the first 6 months and I got zero return. Then I said, let me do DWY. Very careful how I say that. DW is done with you. What I said is I'm going to work with somebody in my market who's going to do this business with me. His name is John. And then John turned into another person, and so on forth. And over the years, we've built relationships with people to do the business with us. And I'm excited about that. And my members and clients and you guys here listening are part of that network, but also the people we've transacted with are part of that network. And so if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have a business. Now, at this point, we're talking about taking all the stuff that we learned and now doing the work for you, as in DFY. That's what that's about. And like I said, if you need that, great. If you just need coaching, then definitely check out jointhegrowthclub.com. We have a session coming up right after this. Again, if you drop me a message with just your phone number, so I know that you're interested in having a conversation, I'm willing to give you a guest pass. If you check this after the meeting, for some reason, we'll find out what the next one is and we'll get you on there. Other than that, if there's no other questions, that's what I wanted to cover today. I see Steven has dropped his phone number. Thank you, Steven. Let's get Steven a link. Let me see here. I'm going to get that for you right now, bud. Like real time. Like this is no messing around. Steven's an action taker. Steven, we've connected in the past, it looks like. I'm not sure if we spoke. I apologize. It looks like you might have had a link there. I don't know if we ever got on the phone, but hopefully we're going to come into the room. You can join now, but just stay on mute if you happen to join that link. I just shot you. And that sounds horrible. Shot the link over to you. All right. Let's see. Yeah, that's somebody else. All right, last chance. You got 3 minutes till we start our actual Growth Collective session. Those of you in the Growth Collective, if you want to share anything, you're welcome to. If you have a deal or you have something you want to share with the room, if you want to introduce yourself, feel free to come off of mute. I'll stop spotlight. Whoever wants to say a quick intro, feel free to do that. Now is your opportunity to the whole real estate investing mastermind. This is a way you can connect and get to know folks in the room, let them know you if you want. You can come off of audio. You don't have to do a whole video if you don't want to. Okay. Everybody's being shy today. That's okay. Oh, one more thing I'll say as you're thinking about doing an intro, we're going to have the deal maker live in the evening. So you're probably like, yeah, that's awesome. Cause like basically, it's hard to do in the afternoon sometimes. We have different time zones. So we figure from like 6 o'clock PM Eastern time, which still might not be perfect. I understand if you can leave work a little early that day, if you're on the West Coast or somewhere else that's far away on, earlier time zone, do your best, but it's going to probably go to like 9 or 10 o'clock at night. And it's going to be pretty exciting. I'd encourage you to get some good rest the day or day before that, because it's going to be a lot of work, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting and it's going to be progression. So if you're looking for that like breakthrough moment, this could be it. Literally, like this really could be it. So if you want that information, again, deal makers to comment. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So we'll let you guys do your thing for the next couple of minutes. Last chance, Growth Collective. Anybody want to quickly shout out themselves? Say where you're at. It's all good. If not, I know Wendy, you put in you're in New Brunswick, Canada. So we got New Brunswick, Canada. That was in the comments in the chat there. Marlo's out in Montana and Janet's, I think, in New York, right? So that's kind of your quick intro of locations. And all the folks in the Growth Collective are also, I believe, inside the real estate investing mastermind. So you could probably find them there. I always encourage the Growth Collective members to go back and comment. If you'd like to be introduced on the chat or on the feed, I should say, you can just put in your name and where you're out of inside the Facebook comments for this meeting. So people know that you were in the room and you're there to talk with them as well. Cool. All right, Stephen, hope to see you in a few. Everybody else, have a great rest of your day. God bless, and we'll see you soon. We'll take a break here. We'll be right back.